Okay, good morning, everyone. This is my first time in Canada. I think Canadians are blessed with ample, vast amount of land. If you have opportunity to come to Singapore, you will see how extremely tiny we are. You know, it's like I always like to show one slide where you put a dot there, and the dot is bigger than Singapore. That's how small we are. All right. The reason why I show this slide here is that this is our current city skyline. And this is where it's more than 30 years of knowledge gathering, confidence building, right, to develop to this state it is. This is our city center, which is highly urbanized. So if you're water engineers, you'll be coming out with all the concerns about water quality and everything, pollutions, everything. But it's 30 years of gathering information, understanding water quality, that give us the confidence to develop this city center into a reservoir, where in a way, besides water supply, we also create opportunity to improve the urban living, the qualities, where a lot of activities are around the reservoirs itself. We have nice high-end condominiums. We have can go canoeing, can go kayaking, and everything. Our F1 also is in the city center itself. This is the opportunity that created. This one here, this slides I show you that, okay, we do all these sort of things. In the end, bottom line is water quality. Because in a way, you know, for example, I show here fluoridation, and you hear all those that came out in a paper about mass medical malpractice, and then the dentist will say we must put fluoride in the water. Actually, frankly, it's not a water utility problem. But this is where all the fears about water quality. Then the other one about this absorbing chlorinated water, right, where it ends, it takes its life of its own. And in fact, in China, there's a professor, and they put the word professor there, it carries weight. And end out, we have to, people gather in a way from the internet, where John Fisher talking about, where everybody accesses information, each one gathering or competing for attention from the public, and each come to their own conclusions or expressing concerns, and that's where we need to manage all these things. So in a way that because of the vast amount of information that's available in the internet to everything, it may create this type of mistrust or issues with the public, and also it creates a problem for us as a utility, especially some of the demands are quite unrealistic. So in a way, to looking at it from the knowledge point of view, so I just have 3 points here, that the information that we have, it must be accurate, or I use the word accurate or good quality data. It must be enough information or accurate data, so that in a way that we build up our confidence and applicable. That means basically whether whatever you're doing or the knowledge you gather, is it relevant? Let's talk about water reuse in terms of accuracy. I think you know that in US and I think in Australia, now they are thinking about direct portable use, right? You try to go back 20, 30 years ago and talk about even indirect portable use. I think it's quite tough. So the question asked then is that, why is it possible today? I would say that basically is that we have enough demonstration projects. In fact, in the 1970s, actually they were practicing indirect portable use, but it's just that the information was not going out. There are too few. And I think now with more projects coming out, the public confidence in accepting water reuse will be growing. In a way, also creating these utilities and researchers able to address in a very confident way, going challenging in terms of today's practices, whether can we go direct, right? And the thing that one of the information that I want to put in here is that communication to the public is important. Media is very important. Why media? Because they are the one that communicate to the public also, right? You always, in a way, of course, you don't get every media to be on your side, but at least communicate the right information. So what I show here, one slide on this Toowoomba itself, where they were in dire straits of water. In fact, the reservoir is dry, and yet the public rejected the water, right? Because a lot of misinformation going on. In fact, I saw the brochures. There's one brochure that shows, do you drink this water? You know, they show a tank, which is actually, from the wastewater treatment point of view, is the activated starch process, you know, which is brown in color. So it's a fear that is created, okay? Enough information or adequate information. Here I used in the example of urban runoff. Okay, maybe I need to explain. The water drivers in Singapore is very different from Canada or US. You are blessed with land, we are not blessed with land. We're only blessed with a lot of water, but we can't store the water. So our horizon we're talking about is maybe months. Your horizon may be talking about years. So you have an opportunity to discuss and discuss and discuss. We don't have. So basically is that we are the first, I think, I would say that we are the first in a way to harvest urban runoff. When we did that about 30 years ago, we were told we are crazy because it goes against best practices, conventional thinking. Urban runoff cannot be a water catchment. You need a pristine catchment water, right, to be a reservoir or lake. So as we journey through the 30 years of harvesting urban runoff, we gather as much data as possible, especially water quality. It gives us the confidence that later on we try to challenge even our own assumptions, where we move from getting the harvest from the first, we let go the first flush of the rainwater and collect the subsequent flush, to collecting even the first flush in a more housing estate area, and to the city area now, which actually everything goes into the reservoir, right? And we've been monitoring the water, and so up to now, the water has been no issues, right? And basically is sharing. So in a way, we share this data with many people, and I think Australia and I think some part of California are also exploring this urban runoff. You know, example like in Australia, when they had the 7-year drought at the time, actually it rained. It did rain. It's just been raining in the wrong place. It's raining further away towards the city area instead of the catchment area. Relevance of information. You know, sometimes researchers, when they do research, they're not wrong in their papers, but sometimes the media pick it up and interpret on their own. So, example like I use this example of they say entering disrupting compounds in our seawater. So, first thing as a utility, my first fear it will be, wow, the public will think that I'm drinking water with entering and disrupting. But we know that we don't drink seawater, right? We don't drink seawater. And we know that technology is available to, in a way, convert the seawater into drinking water. But that's why, in a way, when researchers do research, I always wish that sometimes when they put out papers, they don't just post it as a problem, full stop. They must take a position, you know? The example, like maybe in this case, say that, oh, this is actually, if it's fair to them, they just say that it's in the marine environment, but we would like to say that it has no impact on our drinking water or something like that. In fact, it was headline in Singapore. It was big headline, entering disrupting compounds in the seawater, right? And there's no clarification from the researchers, and you just carry on like that. So we have to step in to try to correct the wrong perception. And so actually, in conclusion, basically what I'm trying to say here is that researchers need to understand the relevance of their work and how does it benefit us or public. And utilities also, in a way, also need to guide or clearly define, articulate their needs and knowledge gap. Utility alone can't do along. We need researchers, all right? And basically, we need both in a way to translate this knowledge to policies or options and to ensure that we get safe drinking water. Communication with the public is very important. Working with the media is very important. And I think this is very critical, especially in creating this understanding and appreciation of issues, and more important, trust among all the stakeholders, whether it's utilities, public, industries, everybody. All right, that's how I end my conclusion. Thank you.